I'm going to show you how to step up your salad game in this video. Stop making boring salads. Stick around. Okay guys, today I'm going to show you how to make salad Lyonnaise. It's very simple, it is super classic, and it is really, really good. It is just a classic French bistro salad that is awesome. Okay, it comes with frisée, which is really bitter. It's like your bitter greens, right? It has your bacon lardon. Actually, today I'm using guanciale because that's what I have, and I love guanciale, but you can use pancetta, you could use bacon, you could use guanciale, whatever, cured pork product, generally bacon. And it's gonna have poached egg, okay? And you make a dressing out of the fat from the bacon with some shallots, a little bit of chives, and that's all there is to it. It is super easy. And I also made a little croutons, which you guys are gonna love. It's really easy, toasted with a little rosemary, a little garlic. And it's just a simple salad. It's light, it's elegant. You can make it for brunch, you can make it for a friend, you can make it for dinner. You could put a piece of fish on top of it and it's excellent, right? And it's relatively healthy, right? I mean, it has kind of some bacon fat or, you know, some pork fat. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and I hope you enjoy this video.
Okay, to start off, what we're gonna do is cube up some bacon. This is actually guanciale, but you can use bacon or pancetta, like I said earlier. You just want a salted, cured pork product. So cube it up into large chunks. It doesn't have to be a perfect lardon, which is a fancy French term for a large cube, but try and make a relatively even cut. Now we're gonna mince up some shallots. And I just use a sharp knife and I just go straight across. And then I do a nice little slice in the middle. And then now I'm just gonna chop straight down and you get nice little cubes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as you can tell, those shallots are really bright and nice color. You don't wanna just chop it to pieces, right? And same with the chives. You just use a sharp knife, cut as thin as you can, just once over, and your chives will be nice and small and bright. But this takes practice, just do the best you can. So chop up some chives and reserve them for later. Now time for the croutons. For the croutons, what I do is use a nice crusty bread. These are not gonna be deep fried, these are gonna be pan fried or sauteed. So I take the bread and I cube it into large chunks. You can leave the crust on, the crust is nice in this recipe, totally fine. So I just cut it in strips and then I cut it in large chunks. You want them to be bite-sized. You don't really want them to be bigger than bite-sized, otherwise it's hard to eat, obviously. So just cut them in large chunks and then just reserve them for later as well. Now what we're gonna do is render out that guanciale. So I just use a dry pan, medium heat, and you're gonna see that fat render out. Once they get nice and crispy, add half of your shallots. Sweat your shallots in that fat just for a couple minutes until they get nice and soft. They'll get a little sweet. They'll have a nice complex flavor to them, and reserve that in a separate bowl. Now it's time for the croutons. For these croutons, I add olive oil to a pan, medium heat, a clove of crushed garlic, a sprig of rosemary, and just cover the bottom of the pan with your bread. You don't want to overcrowd the pan, but you want it to be completely full along the bottom. And we're just going to toss every 30 seconds. This bread burns very easily. That oil is going to get absorbed by that bread, but just make sure you toss, toss, toss. A little salt, a little pepper, and after about 3 or 4 minutes, you're gonna see that that bread gets crusty on the outside and is soft and chewy in the center. It's a nice fresh crouton. It's very delicious. Time for the poached egg. I'll leave a link up above. I have a video on this, but simply what you do is bring a pot of water up to a boil, add some vinegar, give that water a stir, add your egg, and then turn off the heat. Just let it sit for about 4 or 5 minutes. You wanna make sure that that yolk is still raw, but that white is cooked. So you just leave it alone, let it just chill in that water without the heat. That boiling water is gonna break that egg, so you wanna make sure that you just turn off the heat and you're good to go. Now let's mix up our dressing. This is one of the most important parts of the salad. So add a little Dijon, about a teaspoon of Dijon, add about a tablespoon of red wine vinegar, and then we're gonna keep a ratio of 1 part vinegar to 3 part fat. For the fat, we're using 2 tablespoons of that rendered bacon fat, and we're gonna use 1 tablespoon of fresh olive oil. And that olive oil just adds a nice little grassy, fresh element to the dressing. That fat just gets a little heavy, so I like to blend it, 2 parts fat, 1 part olive oil, works really well. And now we're just gonna add a fresh squeeze of lemon that kind of brightens up the dressing, keeps it nice and fresh and vibrant. And we're just gonna stir, stir, stir with a whisk. It doesn't have to be emulsified. It kind of comes together naturally. Just do the best you can, and that's what it's gonna look like after you stir it. And that is a really tasty dressing. As for the frisée, I have a video on how to clean it. I'll link a description up above. Go ahead and click on that. Add your frisée that's clean to a bowl. And now we're just gonna sprinkle in our chives. Reserve about a tablespoon of chives. and we're going to sprinkle in our shallots. You can add all your raw shallots, right? So you have raw shallots, you also have cooked shallots in the dressing. We're going to add our large lardons, or chunks of bacon. We're going to add some croutons, a couple handfuls, as many as you'd like. You don't have to add a lot if you don't want. You can even leave it out, but just add as many as you'd like. And now we're going to spoon in that beautiful dressing right over the top of the salad. Now, it doesn't really require much salt. You can add a little pepper if you want. I find there's plenty of salt already in the dressing. I just add a little pepper, give it a little mix, make sure it's mixed well. I always use a glove and mix with my hand. I just find that's the best way to make sure that the entire salad is really well coated with that dressing. So just mix it with your hand really well. And now let's plate this beautiful salad up. I just grab a couple handfuls, place it right in the center of the bowl. It's all really mixed well. It's beautiful, ready to eat. And we're going to top it with our beautiful poached egg. And now to make it look a little extra beautiful, I do a little bit of olive oil right on top of the egg. That adds a nice sheen and nice color. Sprinkle with some of your chives. Give it a couple cracks of pepper, a little sprinkling of flaky salt. And that is your beautiful, elegant salad ready to go.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that salad Lyonnaise recipe. It's really simple and it's really, really tasty. And it's quite elegant too, right? It's a nice salad. It's very classic and it's just very delicious, okay? And the nice thing about it is that technique of using the fat from the bacon in the dressing. That really complements the salad, and that's just a really nuanced technique that you don't really see in very many salads. So if you enjoyed that video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, maybe hit that bell. I don't know, I never hit the bell, but if you want to, go ahead and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching.